Welcome to Knowledge Verse. This the top 3 deadly roller coaster accidents. Please like and subscribe. And don't forget to leave a comment. A Lithuanian artist Julie Jonas Urbonas, a PhD candidate at the Royal College of Art in London, designed a hypothetical steel roller coaster, the euthanasia coaster, designed as a euthanasia device to kill its passengers. He stated that the goal of his concept roller coaster is to take lives and quote, with elegance and euphoria and quote. A crazy concept. 'Cause normally roller coasters are meant to bring a happy day to its riders. Still, some fatal accidents on theme park rides happen even though they are exceedingly rare. The Tokyo Dome ride hit by fatal fall. A 34-year-old man died Sunday after falling from an amusement park ride at Tokyo Dome City Attractions in Bunkyo Ward. The victim, who was pronounced dead at a hospital 2 hours after the accident, was not immediately identified. The man was on the spinning coaster Mayheim, a roller coaster ride with revolving cars, when he fell at around 12:40 p.m. Sunday. The spinning coaster reaches a speed of 30 miles as it cruises the 305-meter-long track. The man is believed to have fallen from a height of 7 to 8 meters. The accident is the third to hit the park in as many months. In November, a 26-year-old female worker lost 3 fingers while checking wires and motors at the top of the popular Tower Hacker attraction at 9:28 a.m. before the park opened. The Tower Hacker is an 80-meter-tall tower that lifts riders to the top, then lets them free-fall vertically at almost 100 kilometers per hour. In December, parts from the Thunder Dolphin roller coaster injured a girl on the ground. A U.S. Army veteran who lost both legs in Iraq and had been trying to rebuild his life was killed after he was thrown from a roller coaster at an upstate New York amusement park. Teams of inspectors on Saturday were examining the ride of steel coaster at the Darien Lake Theme Park Resort, about 30 miles east of Buffalo. Sergeant James Thomas Hackamer, 29, was ejected from the 208-foot-tall ride early Friday evening after climbing aboard during a family outing. Authorities and a park spokeswoman declined to say at what point in the ride the accident occurred. The wounded veteran was missing all of his left leg and most of his right one, as well as part of a hip, and had only recently returned for good to his parents' home in Gowanda following years in and out of rehabilitation at hospitals around the Northeast U.S. It wasn't immediately clear whether attendants at the theme park had given any thought to barring Hackamer from the ride because of his missing limbs. Hackamer was accompanied by a dozen family members, including one of his sisters, Jody Hackamer. He was determined to ride every roller coaster, she said. That minute he was on that ride, he probably felt the happiest and most normal he's felt in 3.5 years. Hackamer rode the coaster with a college-age nephew, Ashton Lufford. Family members who gathered at the Hackamer's home Saturday said the young man was too shaken to speak with a reporter. But Katie Marks, another of Hackamer's sisters, said Lufford told her that park attendants did not challenge the disabled veteran's desire to ride the coaster. Not one objection, she said. People not one both question. Legs are barred from at least 2 other coasters at the park, the Moto Coaster and the Predator. Rules posted on the resort's website for the ride of steel say that guests must be 54 inches or taller, but add that people with certain body proportions may not be able to ride. The website also suggests that guests try using a test seat at the coaster's station house. Passengers are held in by a bar that sits across their legs. Theme park officials declined to answer questions about the accident on Saturday, citing the ongoing investigation. Both the state's Labor Department, which has regulatory authority over amusement park rides, and investigators from the Genesee County Sheriff's Department were on the scene. We are all brokenhearted by this tragic accident and will continue our support of both the family and the investigation, the amusement park's general manager, Chris Thorpe, said in a statement. A Labor Department spokesman confirmed that the agency is investigating, but said it wouldn't be releasing additional information yet on the circumstances of the accident. The park's website describes the ride of steel as one of the tallest coasters east of the Mississippi River, reaching speeds in excess of 70 miles per hour. The coaster's design has been scrutinized before at other parks. According to the Six Flags Over Texas website, the Texas Giant has the world's steepest drop. The ride, which is 14 stories high, opened in 1990 with a wooden track. It was reintroduced on April 22, 2011 with a steel track. Rosa Ayala Goana fell 75 feet after being ejected from her seat while riding the Texas Giant at Six Flags Over Texas, in Arlington. 52-year-old Ayala Goana was seated in the third row of the carts on the roller coaster and was thrown from her seat during the steep descent from the first large hill of the track, according to the statement. Rosa fell 75 feet, higher than a 7-story building, and struck a support metal beam. Her body then came to rest on the metal roof of a tunnel. An autopsy showed, extensive trauma of the torso, and the cause of death was, multiple traumatic injuries, due to her fall from the ride. An amusement park accident analyst who's looked into similar accidents says how she fit into the seat may be a factor. We're concerned as engineers that we design things that fit people, said Bob Swin, CEO of Houston-based ATA Associates. He said investigators will have to look at whether the woman's size may have prevented her restraints from protecting her. With that size you have to be concerned on whether she was properly fitted to that seat, said Swin. We don't know if there was an issue with the ride or an issue with the way a person is sitting or operating this ride. The safeguards also include the individuals who are letting people on those rides, There is no federal agency that regulates amusement parks. The only state oversight in Texas is the Texas Department of Insurance. The state requires 2 things. The first includes proof that a certified engineer approves the ride under manufacturer specifications or national standards, whichever is stricter. The second, that the park has at least a $1 million insurance policy per ride against accidents. Six Flags spokeswoman Sharon Parker said, We are committed to determining the cause of this tragic accident and will utilize every resource throughout this process. It would be a disservice to the family to speculate regarding what transpired. When we have new information to provide, we will do so. Our thoughts, prayers, and full support remain with the family, Arlington Fire Department used a ladder truck to get to where Ayala Goana's body had fallen onto a platform below the roller coaster. A funeral home vehicle arrived to take away Ayala Goana's body on Friday evening. We were on the train in front of or behind where the person had fallen out. We saw all the EMTs and firefighters and stuff rushing out. They said possibly a restraint might have come up and somebody had fallen out. I know these guys check everything all the time, so I just wouldn't figure something like that would have happened, said Casey Crow, who was in line for the ride. Witnesses said as people were coming back to the station, riders were crying and knew something had gone horribly wrong. A family who was in line behind Ayala Goana said she was riding with her daughter and son-in-law. The family said her seat restraint seemed to go down normally before the car left. They said when the train came back, the seat restraint was down. The family said the woman's daughter and son-in-law were calling for help. They were screaming, We need to go get my mom, This is not the first death to have occurred at Six Flags Over Texas. In March of 1999, a 28-year-old woman died after the raft she and 10 others were on flipped over on the Roaring Rapids ride. In March of 2006, 10 people were hurt on the Texas tornado when their swings hit each other.